we have reached Morris Dalla Costa of the London Free Press. He is in Brazil at the World Cup, and he joins us in Primetime Sports. Morris, first of all, please tell me you weren't you weren't caught in that press room invasion at the Maracana.
Well, we were actually about 30 yards away from it, but it was a little frightening. At first, I thought, the usual fine facilities here, the stands had collapsed because, as you know, they put them together in the last few seconds. But no, it was just those fiberglass plywood walls coming down. So no, it was frightening for a moment, but we weren't that close.
What were they looking for? Were they looking for dangling participles or leads or what?
Well, what they were, it's really funny here. They have probably 19 million military police officers and army people.
Right.
And where you check in with the press, they have about two or three security guys scanning your bags. And about 85 Chilean fans didn't have tickets and decided they were going to scrum their way through there. So they ran through the security check and then ran through a door in the press center, then tried to get behind the press center and pull down the walls a little bit so they could scurry into the stadium. And they were trying to get into the stadium and didn't make it. We understand there were 85 detained, so they said.
Wow, you know what I'd do with them? I'd make them write a story on Deadline, Morris. Hey, you want to be a member of the press? Try this, suckers. Try this on for size.
If they want to cover a FIFA World Cup that badly, I'd make them cover it and then have to survive dealing with FIFA for 35 days. I bet you never watch another game.
Morris Dalla Costa of the London Free Press joins us on Primetime Sports. All right, let's talk about what's going on right now. Chile beating Spain 2-0. This is, this has Morris, you've been to a lot of these. Has any defending champion just collapsed as much to this degree before?
I think Italy wasn't very good in 2010 in South Africa, but I don't think they were dominated. They played poorly, but Spain here just seems to have, between when they left to come here, when they got here, it seems that all of the pressure and the fact that a lot of these players for 5, 6, 7 years have played as many as 100, 120 games a year. With their great club side and with the internationals. I think it's just caught up with them. And, other teams have studied how to play them. And some of them are using the Philadelphia Flyer approach. If you want to move the puck around and be really fancy, we're just going to stomp on you, right? And that's what the Dutch did. And Chile pressured them. So, yeah, I didn't expect them to go out. I didn't think they would win. But their collapse has been stunning, and it's going to cost Del Bosque's job. It's going to cost people like Iker Casillas, the goaltender, and some other guys will probably never play on this national team again.
Morris Dalla Costa of the London Free Press joins us from the Maracana, where Chile is beating Spain 2-0 currently with about 2 minutes left in regulation, in normal time, I should say. I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit here because I admit I was guilty. I saw Chile and Brazil play an exhibition game at Toronto, and I came away being really impressed with Chile. I really like Alexis Sanchez. I think Arturo Vidal's tremendous. But I was telling people that I thought this team really, and I meant this might be the South American team that actually wins this thing, because I wasn't overly impressed with Brazil. I think Brazil has some issues that Chile doesn't have. Argentina, to me, was the only other South American country that would challenge Chile. Can Chile keep this run up, do you think, Morris?
I think they absolutely can if their defense holds together. And you're absolutely right. You can toot your own horn. Brazil, you're not the only one down on Brazil. There's probably about, 100 million, 120 million Brazilians who are down on Brazil right now. And Argentina didn't look very good in their first game. I believe where Chile's going to run into trouble is when they run into trouble when they play teams where they come down the line like Holland and Germany and teams along those lines that are a little bit tougher physically, who play who play the type of game where they don't let you keep the ball. And I think that's where we'll run into trouble. I can see this team. Obviously, they're going to go into the next round, but I can see them making the quarters, maybe even the semis, and then it just depends which way it falls. Depends who they run into. So, we'll get a pretty good picture. They're going to play Holland for the number one spot in this division, and I don't know whether the teams will play hard because they don't really care what division they'll go in, but we'll get a picture of that. So, yeah, I like Chile and the South American team. They're home. There must be at least 100,000 Chilean fans in Rio right now. It's just unbelievable. So they have tremendous support. So I could see them easily doing very, very well.
Hey, Morris, who have been? And I always used to like ask Stephen Brunt this question when he was at the World Cup. I mean, you've been around there a bit. Is there a group of fans that you really like? Is there a group of fans that are having a lot of fun? I know Stephen's famous story about getting in a train and finding himself sort of locked in with a bunch of Scottish soccer fans. It was brilliant. It's one of the best things he's written. Is there a group of fans you've seen so far that you kind of got a soft spot for?
The Americans are great. You almost hate to say that because everybody thinks of the big ugly American, but the American fans have a great traveling support. They're a lot of fun. They provide, and they just don't go to American games. They go to other games. They've been wonderful. And if I were to pick any other set of fans, it would probably be the Dutch and their team because they're very good at making themselves well liked. Now the Americans here, of course, are. You see them walking into the restaurants with their flags wrapped around them, and but they're delightful, and the people here really like them.
Hey, Morris, listen, I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks so much. I'm enjoying your stuff. Stay safe, safe travels, and we'll talk to you again.
Hey, Jeff, thanks very much. All the best. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too. That is Morris Dalla Costa of the London Free Press. Folks, he really is one of the best. And as I said, talk to people who've covered a World Cup, and they'll tell you that one of the real pleasures of covering the World Cup is getting to spend time with Morris Dalla Costa.